infrastructure for. But one of the things that you should keep in mind is that there is this national security consideration. That's why we have the War Department, Defense Department, or whatever you want to call it. And that's to keep our borders sacrosanct and safe. Now, most countries in the world, the border is a line between you and your potential enemy right over there. But with the United States, our geographic circumstances are such that there are two oceans between us and most of the people that we'd have to deal with. But when it comes to people in this hemisphere, they can come upstream. But there is still this security situation that has to be taken into context. So a question becomes if somebody is not a citizen and is here at either the invitation or sufferance of the country, then what happens is when that becomes counterproductive, you have the safety and welfare of the host country, meaning us, to consider. And also, you want to make sure that our country maintains its respect for its own laws and follows due process of law. We have a habit of applying that to others, but the question becomes one of, are you throwing the baby out with the bathwater when you do it either way? When you neglect the due process or you get overly concerned with the due process in a situation that involves security? There's a balance to be struck. So that's where we are right now. And you must also keep in mind that whatever this judge does, there are multiple levels of appeal above him. And this matter is not resolved until it gets as far as the system wants to take it in terms of appellate review of what has gone on.
Hmm. Now, you said multi levels of appeal.
Yes.
So, what would be the first one?
Well, if it's a federal matter, the next thing would be the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals. And then after the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, there would be the United States Supreme Court. And since the United States government is in essence a party to this, that is quite likely to be a facilitated process, especially under the circumstances. So it might be quicker than it usually is. If it was state of Tennessee and this was a state circuit court judge, as I was, then the next step would be with the Court of Criminal Appeals here in Tennessee, and then with the Tennessee Supreme Court if it got that high. But this is a federal matter, so it would go to the Sixth Circuit. If this case is in right now, the in Tennessee. All right,
Mm-hmm.
in a federal court.
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I have that. Can you see that? Let me know.
Let me see if I can read that. That's kind of tiny. I cannot see that at all. No way. Mark one eyeballs don't work even with enhancement and augmentation of a pair of drugstore reading glasses.
Okay. No worries. See if I can read it. Nope. Basically, Mr. Crenshaw or the Honorable Judge Crenshaw has to weigh whether or not there is vindictive prosecution. And he's hinted, that there's a likelihood of that. Explain what that means. Hinted. Does that mean he might be swaying towards that?
In this case, it wouldn't really make any difference because it, as I said, would be quickly moving up. We have to that what you're looking at is essentially a preliminary matter that sets the foundation for what happens later. Vindictive prosecution means somebody is singling, well, a prosecutorial authority is singling out somebody to persecute rather than prosecute. It means that somebody, for reasons that are prohibited by the Bill of Rights, somebody is using the criminal authority of the United States, criminal prosecutorial authority, for purposes other than stopping crime. And I understand from the rhetoric that's been going on what people on both sides think, but we talked earlier today about
Mhm.
this. Let us consider Al Capone. Was Al
Yeah.
Capone a criminal? We know Al Capone was that gangster back before World War II in Chicago. Was he a criminal? He was never convicted of anything. The only thing he was charged with was tax evasion. He got convicted of that, but so did Geithner, who ran the Treasury Department and IRS under Obama. In fact, he had been convicted of the same kind of tax evasion for, in this case, $28 million, less than a year before he became Treasury of the Secretary. I mean, Secretary of the Treasury. Wow, excuse
Mhm.
me. So, white collar crook, okay, but is he the one that was responsible for the St. Valentine's Day massacre that has been the subject of many a movie? Is he the person that beat somebody to death with a baseball bat famously at a banquet in Chicago, a formal banquet, you know? Well, I mean, he never got charged with it. And see, a lot of times what happens, especially when you get a situation like this, is there is that background, and you have to consider what you're going to do. Do you turn somebody loose into society when his status here is questionable? This is not like this is a citizen. This is sort of saying do something, or what is the phrase? S or get off the pot. And